Hello everyone, my name is Ron Pellet and I want to show you how to write a very small extension for Magento. This is based on a demo that I presented yesterday at the Magento headquarters as part of a LA PHP group event. So let's dive right in. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is that I'm working with Magento 1.4.2.0 release candidate 1. This is just the default download. You just download Magento, the most recent one. This is not the stable, this is just release candidate 1. But if you download it, you unzip the files, this is what you get. This is exactly the folder structure. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add an XML file in the app etc modules folder. And I'm just going to drag the file right now and I'm going to show you the file right here. Alright, so under, if you look carefully, it's under app etc modules and we're going to add our file right here. It doesn't really matter the name as long as you end it with .xml, but I always use naming convention, which is the namespace underscore the name of the extension. I'll just open it up. Now the whole purpose of this small extension is to really show you what can be done with extensions, how you actually overwrite classes without touching the core Magento classes. But what we're going to do is actually, this is a feature that was requested by a customer of mine a year ago. And what they were trying to do is highlight orders that their billing and shipping street address do not match. And, of course, no touching of the core files. So in this XML file that we just put under modules, what we're going to have? We're going to have an XML call for config modules. Again, this is the name of the extension. The first part is the name of the namespace, and then this is the name of the actual extension. And you're gonna see how this translates to folder structure and classes and so forth. We're gonna put it as active, and we're gonna put it under the local code pool. Alright, so now this is our local, it's empty. So I'm gonna drag and drop this folder right here, which I've already prepared, and it has the name of the namespace, and notice I put it under local. It has the name of the extension, and I actually put one more thing inside there. Underneath you have etc. That's the folder that houses the XML configuration for your extension. And inside, I actually have config.xml. And by the way, this is incorrect. We don't need that. Okay. So now let's go back to our editor and let's refresh. And let's open it up a little bit and we can see local activo advanced admin etc, and we have a config file. So let's open the config. The config file right now, I have some commented areas which are irrelevant right now. We're going to uncomment them to see the rest of the functionality of this extension. But as it stands out, we just have config, we have modules, we have the name of the extension with the namespace again, a version, and by the way, version, we can get into that later. But the version is just something arbitrarily that you provide, and Magento has their own version convention. So this is like major releases, minor releases, and this is just like bug fixes or really minor stuff, or maybe something that's not even relevant. But anyway, this is all we need. We already have an extension, believe it or not, but we already have an extension working. So let's go in there and just check it out. If we go to System, Configuration, go to Advanced, it's going to give us the list of installed modules. And modules, extensions, I guess they're interchange here, but that's the idea. Activo Advanced Admin, and it's enabled. Now let's just prove to ourselves that this is exactly what it is and not just a fluke of having the folders and so forth. So we're going to comment this out just so we know. We're going to refresh this page and we're going to see that it actually disappears. And there it is. It's not there anymore. Okay, so we're going to go back here. We're going to uncomment. We're going to make sure it's there now. And there we go. Okay, so the whole purpose of this extension right now, what we're trying to do is to show or to highlight the lines in the cell orders grid that have different shipping and billing street address. Okay. So in order to do that, we are going to have to overwrite the class that displays that grid. So we're going to need this block of the XML uncommented, and let's just read through this. We're saying in the global blocks, we're going to give it an advanced admin new type. Basically, it's a new type of block, and this is going to be the base class. It's the base class, it's not the actual class. So that means that inside our block folder, it will look for classes like this, but they will actually end up with other name, like underscore something. And we will see it in a second. And the second thing that we're doing is we're going to take one of our classes that we will create, which is this one. And we're going to tell admin HTML, which is the component in Magento that displays the admin panel, this area, to rewrite its own sales order grid class. Okay, let's look at what actually this means. So I'm going to take this block, and I'm going to drag and drop it here. And let's see what we got inside. Okay, so we have a new block folder here. Okay, now notice how this is Activo. Again, that's the namespace. And then we have advanced admin, which is the name of our extension, and then we have block, and the underscore tell the Magento application that we're looking at different subfolders. And here specifically we have additional subfolders: sales, order, and grid. Grid is the actual name of the file. Sales, order, grid. Let's open this file. In this file, we're essentially creating a class. This is our class that's defined, that's set here as well. And this class extends the original class. And the original class is Mage admin HTML block sales order grid. And essentially what that comes down to is this is the class that presents this part of this page. It's not the whole page, it's just the grid. Alright, and you can right click here and go to definition, find declaration, you can find the actual grid file and so on and so on, and it's going to give you an idea. I mean, you can read into it, it's going to give you an idea of what this is all about. So inside here we're overriding the prepare collection function, and we're telling it to prepare the collection but do something else with it. And what we're doing is add is shipping billing match field. And what this does, and you can look at it offline, is essentially we're taking the collection of sales orders and we're adding two join tables. It's the same table, but we're adding two join expressions and collecting the billing street address and the shipping street address, and then we're adding an expression to the select of the overall select, and we're saying, okay, give this field same street address that's the alias, and give it this expression. If the billing street is equal to the shipping street, give it true, otherwise give it false. That's all we're doing. Later, we're taking this method, which this method gets triggered every time when we have a row, and it spits out a class. And when that happens, we're going to say, okay, well, get this field that we just created that's called same street address, and if it's equal to true, return nothing. If it's equal to false, return different street address. So all our rows that will have different street address will have a special class assigned to it, which is different street address. Alright, so we uncommented this part. Let's just make sure this is actually happening. Refresh. Okay, you won't see anything because we just assigned the class. There's one more part which we're going to say, well, that class, what do we want it to do? But for now, let's just see where is this. Let me just resize here. Okay. So this class actually is spitting out because there is one order there that I inserted that has different street addresses. Okay, so you can see that the class is being triggered right now. Now we're going to take it to the next level, and we're going to add an override to the layout of that page. And we're going to do it by doing two things. One is copying this layout right here. So we're going to refresh this folder. We're going to get, this is a new layout, and what we're saying in this layout is, for this page, admin HTML sales order index, okay, we're going to reference the head. In the head block of this layout page, of this page, we want to add a CSS file, or basically it's a CSS link. The file is separate, and the name of that link to this CSS is activo.css. Okay, that's all we're doing. And just so we're clear, let's open here and look at where the actual activo.css lives. It's under skin, admin HTML, default, activo.css. Let's open it just so we understand what's in there. And it's basically a one-line CSS that says every HTML element that has the class different street address, we're going to give it a background color of, and this hex number is actually going to translate to hot pink. Let's go back to the config file. In the config file, we're going to uncomment this part. This part says, go to the admin HTML part of the configuration, go to its layout, update its layout, and this is just this is a random name. I could put anything here, but if I put something pre-existing, it will actually overwrite that original one. So in this case, the original one is actually sales, but I decided not to overwrite it because there's a lot of important parts there that we want to keep, and we just want to add one CSS file. So the file for the layout is located, we actually located it in the same folder as the main extension. So we're going to have to come out of the layout folder. So we're coming out and then coming back into code, local activo, advanced admin layout, sales.xml, and that's this layout right here. Now, theoretically what will happen is when I refresh right now, this layout is going to kick in, our sales.xml is going to kick in and going to be adding a new line in the header of linking to this Activo CSS file, and then this CSS rule is going to apply, and we're going to see a hot pink. Let's see if that happens. and there we go. So there you go. You have there a very small demo on how to put together a small extension in Magento. And notice that we actually customized the admin panel, but we didn't touch any of the core files. So it's safe to upgrade. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.